And that will give you a good opportunity to understand the situation today and the way forward.
Thank you. Yeah, just to summarize what was said earlier by Zafar, I'll just give you some statistics, just to understand the situation. Now, we all know that perhaps one of the biggest issue for Pakistan's industry is very high cost of energy or non-availability of energy. We are seeing in Punjab that the gas is not available, and we are seeing throughout the country continuous load shedding, and that obviously non-availability and high cost is making us uncompetitive. The answer is very simple. We have one of the largest coal reserves in the world, 6th largest coal reserves in the world, and if you consider at one place, a third, 175 billion tons out of 185 billion tons, it is probably the largest at a small place. So, feasibilities have been done by the best consultants in the world. It is developable. It should have been developed 20 years ago or 10 years ago. The problem is that, let's look at the world averages. Globally, almost 45 to 50% power generation is based on coal. In China, it's about 80%. In Australia, it's about 75, 80%. Even in US, and which is where you talk about environment so much, it's over 40%. Germany, 40% coal. India, 60%. We have 0% based on coal. Hydel, of course, is the cheapest, but when you achieve economies of scale, if you go to 5,000, 10,000 megawatts on the basis of coal, then the coal becomes even cheaper than Hydel. See? Another comparison. We are perhaps the only country, or I would say a country, that is dependent on imported oil for power generation, one of the largest percentage. At the moment, although I think the way the system has been, if you go back 3-4 years ago, we used to have 1/3 power generation based on gas, 1/3 oil, imported oil, furnace oil, and 1/3 Hydel. But because the gas has declined, and because Hydel capacity has not increased, at the moment probably more than 50% power generation in the country is based on imported oil. Now compared to that, India, the power generation based on imported oil is 1%. And global average is only 4%. So you can draw your own conclusions what's wrong with this country. Thank you.
Thank you, Asad. Thank you. One last question, quick one, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Maliha Bangash. I'm from UBL Fund Managers. My question, although there have been, thank you very much, compelling arguments on the optimistic side for growth and not so optimistic side, but I would like to direct my question to Mr. Aleem and Mr. Beg about the optimistic side, that if we are to see growth and we are to see 4 to 5% GDP growth figures, what are the 1 or 2 takeaways from this panel discussion that we should be looking at which will drive this growth? Thank you.
Yeah. To my mind, the immediate thing, given the fact of the poor governance and being pragmatic, that nothing's really going to change, it's just luck on the international commodity prices. They're likely to remain high, and for, yes, I would say that the government has done certain things towards seeing higher production of wheat through its own action. So basically the growth would have to be driven by higher productivity on the agricultural side and luck holding out, both in terms of monsoons, not getting too flooded out, and the international commodity prices holding.
I just want to add on this. I think it's not only the agriculture, but it's, as I mentioned, we are a bit optimistic on the financial sector, and I think there is liquidity, but that liquidity was not being properly, because of various fears and all those, were not being utilized. And we are hopeful that the growth will come through the investments that will be made, not only by the big corporates, obviously on a limited basis. But the trend of going down will probably take off, and SMEs I've talked about the banks coming into the consumer marketing side. So I think all in all, when you're talking of the takeaways, it's basically the agriculture. As I said earlier on, you have to understand that in the period July to June 2011, we have had many problems, flood being one. The other one being that the government was not able to recover the cost of various utilities and others in time, so the deficit has gone up. But this is not sustainable. And the point I had made earlier is that I hope, and we all hope, that there will be a realization by desire or by force. Thank you.
Thank you, Aleem sir. So just to wrap up, one last one.
My name is Shahid Qazi. I've come from Lahore and back after many years in Karachi. And there's no question really other than what is happening on the coal front, given the rosy picture that you're sharing with us. That's a question from Asad. You would be knowing more about what is happening on the coal front. The other is basically a comment. If we would to look at it, look at Asad's comments, they sound most realistic. If all of us maintain the status quo, they are the near term and the long term and all those things, nothing's going to change. Things are going to stay the same way. But what I feel I have taken so far from this conference is what Mr. Rogers has said and what Zafar Khan Sahab has said, is that we need to think out of the box. We need to look at things differently. We need to put in our best in our own personal capacities. Whatever we are doing, we need to excel at what we are doing and leave the rest to the person upstairs. Let Allah worry about things. Let us individually do whatever we are. Let's all try and do the best at what we are doing. And that, I think, is the only hope we have if we want to change the status quo. And I feel we are a resilient nation. We've fought against all odds, and in the worst of conditions. And if we can manage to improve ourselves individually, we are the elite of professionals here. If we do individually better, I think it will reflect in all of us in the nation, and yes, this is what we can take from it. It will reflect collectively.
No, thank you so much for your comments. Thank you so much. And
I think I just said exactly the same thing what you're saying. I totally agree with your comment, and what I basically said was that we need to understand what the realistic environment is, but within this environment we have to contribute and we can make a change. So I totally agree with you. On the coal thing, very briefly, the basic thing that we are hoping is that this unique joint venture that has been created between the government of Sindh and Angro Power Gen, which is one of the very good groups, entrepreneurial groups, they have completed the feasibility study done by the best consultants in the world. The feasibility has confirmed the viability. It requires for establishing the first project $3.5 billion. So the real challenge is, in this environment, when there is an issue of circular debt, when people are not getting money for their existing to mobilize that kind of an investment. Now what the government has done, very good development that has happened, is that because the initial project is going to be very expensive, and once we have the first project, then obviously the other projects will be much easier, is that the ECC has approved a very lucrative